The New Brother Podcast.
Let's just define it. Let's define what mental health is. Let's get something, .org, .edu, so we can have something concrete that we can go off of.
It was interesting because it was five. I think five. Was that ADD?
Okay.
That was this is
like the disorders or symptoms?
Disorders.
Okay.
Disorders. It was ADD, depression, bipolar, anxiety.
PTSD? PTSD?
No, those four for sure. I thought it might have been another one. So I kind of looked at those and what they mean and then tried to relate them to us as African Americans in America. And it was depression, definitely.
Right.
We definitely do. Well, some of us, we're depressed. You know what I mean? And we're not knowing that we're depressed. We're not diagnosing it. And so we're coping with these mental shortcomings, a lot of us.
But I feel like we just aren't seeking professional help. People who can sit down and
we don't have a way for that.
But look, if we have insurance, we can just look them up. Like, it's simple. Like, I did it 2 days ago. I went on teledoc.com, looking for a psychiatrist in my area. I found one. I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. If we're going to be talking about it, or if I want to improve myself, I need to, be about it. So I went, I made the appointment, went to the appointment. She was just asking basic questions. Have I ever had suicidal thoughts? Do I have any, what's going on in my life? But it was a 30-minute thing, so she couldn't really diagnose me with anything. But she was just like, have you ever thought of hurting yourself, hurting someone else? Something about your family life, who lives at home? Do you do drugs? Do you smoke? Do you drink alcohol? So it was just like a general overview. But I'm hoping that going forward, we can, because she asked me, so what's bothering you? And I was just like, I want to do this and this and that. And she was like, so are you afraid? I'm like, no, I'm not afraid. I'm going to do it. It's just that either money the situation right now, or I need to get to a certain point. So she was like, what are you afraid of? What's holding you back? And she was like, I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to, if anything's holding me back, I'm trying to figure that out. And she said that with more sessions that she could properly diagnose me. So watch. So it was without my insurance, it was $300. But with my insurance, copay was $25. So basically, next time I see her, $25.
Right.
$25. So it's $25 to better help me sit down with someone who's unbiased, who's just there to listen and maybe give a little interjection where she can help me lead my thoughts in some type of direction. I feel like that's worthwhile.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I tripped out on is because less than 2% of less than 2% of American Psychological Association members are Black African Americans. Some may worry that mental health care practitioners are not culturally competent enough to treat their specific issues. This is compounded by the fact that some Black African Americans patients have reported experienced racism and microaggression from their therapist. One of the things that I think about that is I know you're listening to me talk, but how much do you understand what I'm going through to be able to elaborate on that? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, sometimes we need a different angle in the way we approach things. You know what I'm saying? I used to go to when I was 7, I got diagnosed with manic depression. They had me on Wellbutrins and stuff like that, prescription meds. And I had this little psycho for less than a better word phase where I was when I was a kid, I was extremely violent and stuff. And I'll give you an example. One time I was so angry at my brother, I climbed on top of the trailer in my underwear with some bricks to drop on him and his friend's head when they came out of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I used to do stuff like that. So I think a lot of times when they talk about like I was talking about the whole suicide thing, that black males are more likely to attempt suicide, but white males are successful at it. I think a lot of times we just do because we want attention. We want, like, it's hard for us to come out and say stuff like little Timmy down the street. I think his mom wants to hear what he has to say, and they get asked a lot, you know, hey, what's going on in your life? Like, I think white parents are more likely to ask their kids what's going on with them. I think, you know, and then it's like, I don't know, mom, I don't want to talk to you. Like, but when they get older, they feel like, okay, there's somebody that's gonna be willing to listen to me. I think black people, when we have a problem with something, like somebody always tries to like one up you, like, hey man, how's everything going? Oh man, it ain't going too good. I lost my job. I'm kind of depressed. Well, sit down for a second, younger. I want you to listen good. Now, when I was your age, and then they want to tell you about the story about how life was harder for them, and it's like, damn, like you don't even get no like empathy, you know what I'm saying, in your situation, because there's always somebody willing to tell you how they got it harder. So it's like, damn. So you just like, I'm not even gonna open up my mouth because I'm looking like, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm like the pity, like you don't want to be a pitiful person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And especially around African Americans, because it's like you get ate alive having that mentality. I don't know. But
it's a two-way street. So like when you were saying that we don't like to tell other people our problems, sometimes people may disguise it like, oh, you know, how you doing, sugar? Like when you come in, right? You know, and everybody knows like, you know, the how you doing is really like just bland, but that gives you the opportunity to, like, let's say I just walked in, my mom's like, how you doing, sugar? But oh my, you know, it was bad, work was this, or like school was this or whatever. So that opportunity, I took it a next level, but it has to be my part too. Right. So that, you know, I open up and then later on she can open up as well, or we can just have an open dialogue where we can both express our feelings and not be so tight and caught up and like, oh, this person is maybe going through some other things, but everybody's life is different. Right. So it's like we're all going through like this life, this journey. Everybody has their little setbacks, there's problems. But like we need to be able to like reach out to people. We need to be like, even our friends, like, yo, I'm not feeling too good. Like I'm either too sore or like, you know, it's okay to be weak. It's not like, you know, everybody goes through their things. We can't have this persona where we always have to be strong. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like as black men, we try to do that too much.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's because we don't want to be vulnerable. And then I think when you're around people that are mentally competent and confident in themselves, they don't have to, you know what I'm saying? I think we have like, our therapy sessions are like perverted. Like, instead of us talking about our problems, we'll talk about your problems. Yeah. Like, look at your teeth, it's so yellow. Like, we get these bagging sessions and we start talking about all the things that make you, you know what I'm saying, like messed up. Instead of talking about like, man, this is what I suffer from, we're gonna talk about what you suffer from. So we get in these bagging sessions and we're like, it's like the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you talking about your problems and somebody try to help you too, we're gonna talk about your problems and make you seem less of a person. That way, that's how we feel better about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's by making you seem like you got more issues than I do. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Instead of saying like, well, I'm gonna be vulnerable. And I think a lot of times too, our mental health thing too is like, you're perceived as weak if you have like, if you're taking prescription medications or you have some type of mental health issue. And I think a lot of times we have to project. So if it's like, I'm taking pills, but nigga, I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you ain't gonna make fun of me because I'm gonna show you how crazy I am. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times we have to project. Whenever we have a problem or something, we have to project that and like in order to keep people from preying on that vulnerability. You know what I'm saying?
Like Latinos, they usually, like if they're going to a therapist or a psychologist, they like to keep it on the down low. Like they don't want anybody in their business because they don't want people to call them like un loco, like somebody crazy. You know, they just want to keep their, because, you know, once people know about what's going on with you, then they just start talking. You don't, like Hispanics especially, like their privacy. I bet everybody does as well. But like we have the saying, la ropa sucia se lava en casa, which basically means like, you know, we take care of our dirty laundry at home. You know, we don't like to air it out. We don't like, you know, if we have a problem at home, we take care of it at home. Yeah,
I've noticed that. Like my Mexican friends, like even if somebody like tell the wife like, I seen your husband out there, like, no, that wasn't him. Nah, but he was with another. I don't know what you're talking about, but that wasn't him. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna like sit up there and put their business out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I that's one thing that I do notice. Like they'll try to, if he out there cheating, they'll try to cover it up.
My mom, like growing up, whenever you go to like grocery stores and like we would act up or do something out of order, she would just look at us and tell us, "Watch when we get home."
Oh yeah.
And then it was just like once we got home, we got it. Like she didn't need to tell us. And then once after that happened, we would know like how to act in the store. It's like, all right, we gotta act this way because if we get home, you know, we don't want another ass whipping.
Yeah, we used to start sweeping the floor and cleaning up and washing dishes when we got home to try to avoid that. And my mom knew what she
Trying
was
to be good, like nothing happened.
Like, oh yeah, and then my mom, she used to have like a spanking bank. She'd be like, you thought she forgot, but she was over there keeping a tally of how many. And like she was fair though, because everything you did wrong, you got 6 licks because the devil made you do it, and that was the devil's number. So she would hit you 6 times. So if you had like 2 infractions, that was 12 licks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she'd be like, I don't owe you something from last week, and you like, damn, I forgot about those. So you know, you might end up with 18 by the time it was over with. So, but my mom, you know, to her credit, she didn't like to hit us when she was angry. She would walk away. I mean, with the exception of me, I think I got the most beatings because I know how to aggravate people. That was kind of one of my, you know, I know how to get people. You know what I'm saying? You're riled up. So, but for the most part, she would try to. She either like wouldn't hit us while she was angry because she didn't want to, you know, beat us to death, and then or she would like give us the opportunity to ride or be grounded and be like, oh, I'm gonna let you pick your punishment. You're either gonna be grounded for 2 weeks. You're going to have to write, you know, 500 times that I will not do this or whatever, or I could whoop you. Depending on what we had to do, like sometimes like if it was a birthday party or something, like let me go ahead and take the ass whooping and I can be out here by this evening. Like, you know what? Like, that's the quickest one. Let me just go ahead and get this ass whooping and dry my tears and then I'm going to be eating pizza. You know what I'm saying? By noon. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, my mom, I think she was diagnosed with manic depression as well. And she used to do the depression naps.
Has she ever thought of going to like therapy?
She was going for a while, and I, you know, an incident happened to where she ended up catching the case like a long time ago. And I don't want to go into details and put her business out there like that. Yeah. But she went through a lot of psychological stuff. You know what I'm saying? With the relationship with her and my dad, and growing up in the household, a lot of times, like I went to 6 different elementaries. I was the man of the house more than I wanted to be when I was growing up. You know what I mean? Because they were separated and my mom was trying to get away from my dad. And naturally, I was young. I was like a kid. So, you know, when you're a young boy, you want to be with your mom. So, I mean, we had an option. Like, my parents, like, they fought for us. But the only fighting that they did was like, no, you take them. It wasn't like, oh, I want custody. It was like, no, it's your turn to take them. That was like their, that's how they fought over us. So, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so I was like the man of the house more than I wanted to be. So a lot of times me and my mom were suffering from depression at the same time. Like my mom would take these depression naps and stuff. And I think when we kind of worked through our depressions together. So now like we have a tighter bond because we realized like we're going through stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And I started smoking marijuana at like 13. And I think that's when a lot of my psychological stuff kind of just mellowed out a little bit. And
so it helps.
Honestly, it helped me, and it did help me, and also that in music, I feel like once I found a niche, you know what it is? Okay, so going back to what we were saying about therapy, my therapy was my music because I could say whatever I wanted and couldn't nobody tell me what to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, you try to talk to your parents and like, a lot of times my dad, like, if we try to sit down to him and talk to him about stuff, he took it as disrespectful. You know, like, I got a problem when you do this, and it was like, he would feel, you know how it is. Black daddies, you try to, you know, they feel like you're trying to test them whenever you try to say, hey, Pops, I mean, I want to get along with you, but I have a big problem when you instigate with us and when we're having a bad day, or you know, the Bible says honor your parents, but it also says provoke your children not to anger. You know what I'm saying? So there's a balance there. So we'd bring that up. So a lot of times I feel like I couldn't tell my dad the stuff that I really wanted to tell him that was going to help our relationship. So I would go on my rap songs and say whatever I wanted, and I'd be like, there's somebody to try to check me on my own song. Because this is, you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times, you know, young black males, those are their therapy sessions of their music. But the downside to that is that toxic stuff, it's like having an abscess. Like when you putting stuff out, you like draining like a pus out of a wound. And then like, it's like when you're rapping or whatever, you're putting it in a jar, and then somebody else is gonna get a hold of that, and they're gonna get sick. So when you put out that toxic stuff, it's good, you know, because you got it off your chest. But then somebody else is gonna go and pick it up after you, and some kid's gonna feel justified by listening to that music and continuing with those actions.
Yeah.
So that was the struggle that I always had. It's just like, am I using my music to vent or am I using it to educate people? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I still struggle with that to this day.
That analogy that you made with the music in the jar is kind of like when people write a letter, they put it in an envelope. Like, you know, let's say I'm mad at you, and I'll write a strong worded letter, you know, just let it all out, but not send it to you. You know, just keep it. Like, you know, I let it out. And that's what I think. If we were to do some more journaling, more like just writing. If we don't want to go to a therapist, all right, cool. Just write down whatever's in your head. Just a little bit each day.
You brought up a good point when you said your music. It's just you had a certain amount of freedom in your music that you didn't feel with your father. But what I wanted to touch on was the mental state of black people. But let's talk about black men for a second. I want to go back to 1776. This is post Civil War, right? America decides they want.
I think it's pre. Because post is after.
I'm sorry, brother. You're right. Thank you.
Civil War is 1865.
Right. So 1777, somewhere in there.
Revolution.
The revolution. The white men here said, that's enough for Great Britain.
Yeah.
We want freedom.
Okay.
And they prepared to go to war. Slaves have a choice. Finally, they get a choice. You got the Brits telling brothers, slaves, fight with us. We take you back with us to Britain. You can join our naval. You get to travel or whatever. Freedom, basically. Or more freedom than America give you. And then you had the black slaves that I don't understand fought with master or the oppressor. They fought with the what you call them?
The Patriots.
No.
You're talking about
The colonists.
The federal. They call
The
them
rebels.
The rebels, whatever. They fought with the slave masters basically.
Okay.
They fought with the South. Okay. So this is post pre Civil War.
Pre-Civil War.
Okay. So the Civil War, so America wins. Boom, they got their freedom. That's beautiful, ain't it? Ain't that a beautiful thing? So then what happens is they tell those black folks, if you fight with us in the South, if you fight with us, those who are fighting in the South, we'll set you free. We'll get you a better life. So the fact that I tell you that that's pre-Civil War, that tells you what happened to those brothers that fought in the South. They didn't get freedom. They put them back in slavery. Think about it.
Yeah, because if you look at
Threw them back in slavery.
and look what's going on to this day. Like,
Could you imagine the psychological? Here's this black man.
They're being lied
these
to.
black people who done been slaved, abused, children sold, women raped.
It's
and then
kind of-
finally the man said, all right, we need you to help kick ass here, brother. We're going to fight with you. We're going to give you a piece of the pie. And you help them win the war.
But it goes all back to like the promises that were made to us
Right.
that aren't,
Right.
like they don't keep
Imagine
their word.
the
You know what I mean?
psychological
Yeah.
effect it has on those men, those people, and they got to go back into slavery to 1865. Then we have another Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once again, black people are, so to speak, promised freedom. But again, we go into another form of slavery they call sharecropping or whatever. Basically, we still were slaves.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we look at us today, black men today. Our history, whenever our history started here, has there ever been a time a black man has allowed to be free and stand up and behave and act like a man?
well, you know what? That's what the military is about. You know what I'm saying? And I think the military promotes that kind of, you know, be a man. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a lot of people buy into that narrative is that, well, I can go to the military and be better than the rest of these niggas that I leave behind.
Yeah, but
You know,
the point is,
yeah.
as a group of men, have we ever been men? Okay, let's think
well,
about this.
you know what?
Slavery, we got beat down. Civil rights, we got beat down. Okay, our children, still today, we just had another incident not too long ago, but yesterday, some other young brothers, 11, 12, had a toy gun, BB gun. Somebody called the cops, and this was just yesterday. Somebody called the cops. I think they're playing. I don't know if it's real. It could be whatever. Cop come, gun drawn on children. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the effect I have on, you know, like black men, particularly with black people, when you see this century after century, this behavior towards us after we have fought every war, you know, from the Brits war, whatever they call it, the Revolutionary War, to Iraq, we still serving. but yet we still have this submissiveness or lack of being a man. I mean, we can't do nothing. There's no cure for it. It's like, what can we do? We're powerless to power ourselves.
Right.
That's gonna psychologically, man. Yeah.
We just need to open up our minds. We need to like do like critical thinking on like all the issues and like it's like everything you just said, like all that. Like we as men need to take that into account and be like, all right, based on these stats, on this history, like, is this going to benefit me, or should I fall into the system? Because that's what it is. It's just a cycle.
It's a good point. It's a good
point. Well,
but but the point I'm getting at our mindset.
Yeah.
Think about how we're already affected. Like, I give you this on a lighter note, right? What's that brother name? Terry Crews, that ex-NFL football player.
Yeah.
He gets on national TV and he makes this powerful statement. He's saying, you know, I've never felt so, what's the word, emancipated. Whatever that word he was using, some big word, but I guess it felt like less than.
Emasculated.
Emasculated.
Yeah.
He kept saying, I never felt so emasculated. So I got up out the bed, I sat on the bed like, what happened to this brother? You know, like, what the fuck happened to this? What, Terry Crews, what happened to you, brother? And then he says, the white man grabbed my nuts. I said, wait a minute, brother, wait a minute. You 6'5", 265 pounds, and some white dude grabbed your nuts at a party in front of your wife, and you tell me that you have to not do anything because you're scared of the consequences. What? Either you're going to get in trouble or you're not going to get no work in Hollywood.
Yeah, he'll probably get blacklisted.
Wait, hold on, man. If he was into sports, man, a white man grabbed his nuts when he was like 13 when he had to do his first physical. Hey, he coughed 2 times, man. Like,
but that's the point I'm making about us never having a chance to be men. So what effect does that have on us? Centuries of being emasculated.
Right.
Centuries. Our children. Now, that was one thing he grabbed Terry Crews nut. But our children get shot. The little girl out there in Bakersfield, the police, 3-4 police officers threw this little black girl down, 14 years old, sicked the dog on her. She's in the hospital with cuts and bruises from dog attack. And there's nothing, I don't want to say it's nothing we can't do about it, but it's nothing we do about it. You see what I'm trying to say?
And I hate to say this, but like, you know, I've heard this narrative time and time again. They say like they don't respect nothing but loss of life and loss of finances. And if you can't hit one of those, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, the reason why we can't do loss of finances is because we can't stick together financially to be able to boycott anything long enough. It's like you know, well, Jordan, they got these people, and it's like, well, I'm not finna stop buying J's. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
to me,
F what y'all talking
that's
about.
A mental illness, right? To me, that's a mental illness.
It really
if
is.
We say you can kill our children, you can emasculate
Right.
me for my grandfather, my great grandfather, and I still will take my hard-earned dollars and put in your pocket.
Right.
That's, to me, something's wrong with us here. If we still participate,
or the prison and the military,
that manner that we still participate, that's something wrong with us.
I feel like
here,
the prison and the military is the only opportunity you really have to be emasculated. Because number one, you go to the military and you come back with this, you know, stars and stripes, and you just feel like, oh man, like, you know, you come back and you start treating a lot of the black people that are here like they weren't men because they didn't go to the military. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times when brothers come back, they feel like, you know, I'm better than the rest of you. Like, so, I got a higher stack. You know what I mean? Because how the military is structured, you have like tiers. You feel like, well, these niggas, I'm an E9 or whatever. These niggas wasn't even in the military, so I'm ranked higher than them. Like, I'm ranked higher than you, civilian. So I think we have that, like, well, if I'm not gonna be at their level of man, I could at least be more of a man than most of these niggas that I know. I think that's the mentality that goes into that.
I thought about manhood, because I think a lot of black people's, black men problem is that we don't know what it's like to be. We can say, oh, I know what it's like to be a black man in America, but what is it like to be a man in America? Something that I can sit here and tell you, I feel like a man. When you can hurt or beat up black kids, and then Trayvon Martin, for example, and we have to watch the system say he didn't. What's the man that shot him? Zimmerman. Mark Zimmerman did nothing wrong.
I almost said Zuckerberg. I was like,
Mark Zimmerman did nothing wrong. But now look at this though. Where do black men thrive? Where's the one place that nobody bothers? The sky's the limit. Sports. Michael Jordan, 100 points. Bill, all those 100 points, 60. Nobody's gonna stop that. No one's gonna say, "Oh man, no, Jordan, too many points, Jordan." Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. Music. He just mentioned how, and when he do his music, like his father was kind of like, dominating him. But in his music, he was free. No one's gonna mess with this.
Sammy Davis Jr. said the way you get back in them was through your talent. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's what we allow.
Right.
But even then, who makes the most money off our talent?
Right. And not only that is that you don't ever see a problem until they start using it to do some kind of humanitarian efforts, or everybody will put their money in Africa, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think when you get up there, they allow you to be able to do stuff in Africa because it's not affecting the American economy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not affecting these black people, so we're good with that. You know what I'm saying? But I agree with you. It's a psychological thing, and
it's a problem. I think it's an illness.
It's like it's toxic. It's toxicity.
I think we're suffering.
It's toxicity that's been. But no, I mean, you know what it is? It's like almost when you're in traffic, and somebody is you cut somebody off. All you gotta do is keep looking forward and pretend like that person's not there, and they don't exist. Right. So as long as they're not listening to us barking on the side and talking about our problems, then it doesn't have to exist to them. You know what I'm saying? So, but like and like I say, it's a toxic situation, and we have to be able to like have. I think our therapy sessions got to take place somewhere where we can talk about things. And what is it? Anonymity. I think if we have anonymity in a situation, like, I don't know, back in the day they had like the Boys Town hotline where you can go and talk to people and, I'm gay and I think I might be gay, I'm gonna commit suicide, or you know what I'm saying, or I'm on drugs, and you can't say that to your parents because they're emotionally invested in your life, so anything you say is gonna affect them, and it's gonna be an emotional response. So you have to have that almost an anonymity to where you can talk to somebody who's not gonna judge you, and like in my past religious experience, I turned off a lot of people because I felt like I was judging. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was better than them because when I stopped doing drugs and stopped drinking, I felt like I was kind of judgmental. But now
I see the light.
Right. See, but now it's like I've been through that, and I'm like, okay, now I understand. It's like, hey, man, people are gonna live the way that they live. You know what I'm saying? But you just got to be there for them.
We're not really ready to deal with our true illness. We're not ready to like me. I think I suffer from low self-esteem. See, when my parents broke up, my self-esteem went really low, man. It was like, oh, man, that hurt. Because we was one of the few families on my block that had mother and father, same offspring. Okay. Most people on my block had, not all, but most of the kids had mommy's boyfriend around, or mommy's boyfriends.
Yeah.
So I felt a little special. So my parents broke up. We lost that. But I remember, I know to this day, even to this day, I still search for something that makes me feel like a man, which is usually sex now, because I don't drink as much anymore. I hardly ever drink now, but sex makes me feel like a man. And
it goes back to,
for rappers, it could be the big house, the gold chains. But that's still, to me, a psychological interruption when we are looking for outside material, outside feelings, other than being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm a man. But it's hard to do when I got to go out society and watch somebody beat my little brother up, and there's nothing I can do. If I respond, anytime a black man be a man, Malcolm X to me was a man. I mean, he paid the price for it.
Yeah, you got to be willing to die for what you believe.
But he was a man.
Yeah, you got to be willing to die. That's why you got to have a strong belief in whatever, because so going back to what you said about what we were saying about being a man, I think a lot of young men that are good at like fighting and just like love the physical aspects of things. Like I said, prison and the military. When you go to prison, you got the opportunity to dominate weaker men. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of men feel like, or a lot of black men feel like I can go to prison and punk niggas all day. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's a lot of parallels between prison and the military. When you come back, people know you're a killer, and they respect you, but not really. It's more of a fear. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, people like. Look at the Vietnam veterans. People pretend like they care about veterans more than they really do. Why? Because there's a fear there. It's like, I gotta pretend like I actually care about what he did.
You're anti-American.
Right, exactly. So, or if somebody gets out of prison, you kind of like, man, I'm like, he terrorizing the hood. You know what I'm saying? We pretend like we okay with you being out, but we just like, man, this big old monster that got out, he finna. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait till they go back, really. But, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the homeboy get home, and he probably going to take you back to prison with him because of his actions, and he going to get in the car, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he finna have you doing some stuff that probably might get you locked up. So you kind of like, man, they just need to hurry up and lock this nigga up again. So you know what I'm saying? I think psychologically, a lot of us have that either we going in there so we can go and punk some other men, or we just want the something to happen to that dominating person.
I feel it's the bully. I feel like a man because I'm bullying you. I'm bigger than you. I'm better.
Right. So a lot of times, so I think we try to look for, I'm bigger than you. I can shine. I can be. For me, it was my music, and I used to get into freestyle battles at parties, and I used to just be able to rip people apart. And I close my eyes and I go into this zone to where I can just run through, and I could be there rapping for an hour, and nobody could really dominate me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when people were better around me, I'd be better too. So I upped the ante. So I felt like, I went to freestyle battles, I won, and I take home money, buy beer, and weed for the homies, and so that to me that allowed me to be,
Do you feel like a man?
Yeah, I did. It made me feel like
that point.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, I was a champion. I go to this freestyle battle, we come up with $200. You know what I'm saying? Come out there, and I'm the champ. You know what I'm saying? I'm the warrior. But like I said, self-esteem affected me a lot because growing up around Mexican people, and I was the only black one, I had to develop this false sense of security to project. You know what I'm saying? We project a lot. A lot of times, it's like a lot of fat black women, they project. Like, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they like to wear promiscuous clothes, and then it's like, I know we've all seen that one girl that's like, girl, you're not shaped to be wearing that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, she she developed
but
that.
Making her feel she
feels good about herself.
Right, because people are looking. I mean, they might not be looking for the best reasons,
or because she wearing the clothes that the pretty girl's wearing.
Right, exactly. So we project. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we project, and we have attitudes that are like force fields around us to where like, no, don't touch this subject or I'll eat you alive.
That's how we are.
Yeah.
Like, think about in today's time, who's our male or black man that we can look up and say, this brother here is a man. He don't take no shit.
You know what I'm saying?
And then be accepted by America.
Yeah.
See, Dr. Umar, I love that brother. I mean, whether I agree with him and everything or not, he's a man. He stand up. He's not afraid to say what the fuck he wants to what he want to say. Mm-hmm. To me, that's a man. We got who are our most famous black men? We got entertainers and athletes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they all submissive and passive and nice and kind. You can just walk up to them and they jump in their arms and I'm trying to say.
Because they're in their castle. They're ready.
They're comfortable. They're in heaven. They're in heaven. You know what I'm saying?
They got past this issue area.
Yeah.
They got their castle there in their own zone. They don't need to worry about the issues that we worry about.
So I can see why they can deal with if they have any mental issues, they should be able to deal with theirs pretty fine because they got the resources, they got the money, they can afford the
help,
whatever they
exactly.
need.
Well, a lot of times too, it's like you can afford those toxic things. Like, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go do this show and smile in front of all these people. That I'm gonna go snort some blow off the back of this hooker. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever we do, you know what I'm saying? We got like these toxic little things that we do that a lot of people don't know about. We got these habits, and like what they said Eddie Murphy was picking up and Teddy Pendergrass was picking up, transvestites or whatever. I wasn't there, but you know what I'm saying? I could see how we can have these little toxic little things that we do that, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna perform, but then I'm gonna get my fill of whatever. And I think
because we at the end of the day, whatever America illness is becomes our illness because we follow them.
Right.
If they whatever the practice of main society or majority, we tend to because we don't have no identity.
So that's what you're saying, that we should go against society.
No, I'm saying we should find our own identity.
Right.
Okay.
Find out what works for us because right now whatever the fuck we're doing ain't working for us. It's not working for us.
And it's just like
And what you gonna say? You had a question from the book?
I didn't have a question. It was like going on a report that I read, but you can go on, Shane.
It's like the anti-disestablishmentarianism. It's like all the emo kids hang together because they don't want to hang around with people. But in the midst of you not wanting to hang around with people, you find other people that don't want to hang around with people. So I think, a lot of times what I decided I wanted to do with my music, with my clothing line is just, I had this discussion with my buddy the other day, and I told him, like, I don't want to sell dad hats. I want to sell stuff that I would wear. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, but you got to kind of cater. I'm like, but why can't I just find my own audience and tell stuff to people that are like me? You know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, I think that takes longer, but I think there's nothing like finding your own audience and people that can
Your
relate
audience.
to you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like trying to reach for people that are not your demographic, finding your niche and just working with those people and finding people that actually feel genuinely about how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking to Jeremy earlier, and I was talking about how, you know, and not pretty much like not having to stretch and saying, hey, there's something out there for everybody, man. No matter how you feel, you're not alone. There's 100,000 people that feel like you. But I think a lot of times it takes, you know, pushing through issues. And like, okay, I'm never gonna know who feels like me until I say something about it. And one person that comes to mind in particular is that kid XXXTentacion, the one that got murdered and stuff. You know, I kind of overlooked him until he got killed, and I started looking into his mental, and I was like, man, I kind of felt bad for him because it was like, dang, he had all these, you know, psychological issues and mental illness, and then once he pushed through it and he started trying to do better, then that's when they gun him down, and that's hard, you know. It's like, hey, kill that nigga, he about to find a cure to, you know what I'm saying? Like, just when you about to find the key to unlock mental illness, like, how many kids could he have helped? You know what I'm saying? With hey, you know, I battled through my depression. You know what I'm saying? And he had that track record to show, you know.
And the brothers did it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
they killed him.
I don't like to buy into the media narratives because he could have been anybody.
Well, they showed it. They got it. They showed. You see the video?
But what I'm saying, I seen him when he was there. I didn't see nobody shooting him.
No, they showed the video.
They showed him getting shot.
Was that at a gas station?
No, leaving the fucking motorcycle store. What happened was he had a lot of cash on him. He went to go buy a motorcycle. He had a bag full of 50 grand. He had his buddy with him. Basically, somebody knew he had the money on him.
Yeah, you got that.
When he was pulling out, they pulled the SUV in front of him. Jumped out. Two brothers jumped out with the guns. Let's have it. The passenger got out and ran. Okay, and they shot him in the car.
Damn.
But they got the guys. They got him.
Damn.
It was a robbery.
So that was them. See, and that's the thing. Just when he's about to find the key to unlock his, you know, the antidote to his mental illness, then somebody takes him out.
Because that money make those young men feel like somebody special.
Right.
It makes them feel like men.
Right. So
I'm willing to kill my brother so that I can feel some type of way.
So we gotta find something that we value more than a dollar.
More than a dollar. And it should be self. We should be looking at each other like valuable people.
Right.
We need to, you know, this planet needs you, brother, to stay out of prison, to develop your mind, educate yourself, dominate what we create.
Yeah, I think a lot of
set
times,
a path for the next generation.
And that takes a lot of company. Like, I was having this thing of like, you know, I don't know, it's just the idea, but it popped in my head, like, why don't they have ex-black militaries patrolling the black neighborhoods? You know what I'm saying? That way it's like, your average trained black man is not going to be so quick to pull a pistol out on a regular, you know, a civilian. You know what I'm saying? Because we're trained to understand each other.
Because we won't challenge jurisdiction. That's why.
Yeah,
we are afraid.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Our mental state. We're fear. We scared of everything.
Because if you think about it, like
we're scared.
Our mannerisms, like we taught to know each other's mannerisms. Like, I know when I see a brother pick up his pants, he gonna try to swing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things
when
that
it come to each other. Then when it come to each other, you step on my shoes, I kick your ass.
So I feel like you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is probably off the subject, but like, we're always scared of the shooters. You know what I'm saying? Like, in our neighborhoods, we respect the shooters. We ain't gonna tell on him. But I think if we got shooters that are military trained, but are also familiar with our mannerisms and how we act in the neighborhood, that would be probably less, you know what I'm saying? But
Let me ask you brothers a question. Mental illness. Kanye West, what's your opinion? Did you see the whole thing with him and Trump? To me, it was no big deal. He just sitting on the president speaking what you know.
What happened like a couple months ago?
No, this was just the other day. I think it was last week.
Yeah, he was hugging Trump saying, I love this guy.
Yeah. So black celebrities have lost their minds. Oh, this guy's crazy. Lock him up. He's you know, he don't speak for black people.
I think he was extra. I think he was a little extra with it. He's like, I love this guy. Like, he's all hugging at him like, yeah.
But he's not talking about. He's not singing rap.
Is he cooning? Huh? Is he cooning?
He kind of looked at him like the way he hugged Trump, like he kind of hugged him like it was his daddy or something. He's like, I love this guy.
He's cooning a little bit.
He's my buddy.
But why I'm upset is this is why I'm upset. At least this is a young brother sitting down with the president of the United States of America. To me, that's cool. All right. At least, and if you think about Kanye's music, I don't remember him talking about bragging about selling drugs and making it big and prostituting.
He's putting out garbage
ain't
right
no
now.
fun if the homies. I mean,
Yeah, he's putting out
don't
garbage.
get me wrong. I like that music to some extent, but if we can accept that kind of music, but we can't accept Kanye with his little rants. I mean, you see what I'm trying to say? With black people, our culture is kind of like, I'm confused how pimping is cool in the black community. We love pimps.
Right.
We can tolerate pimps and drug dealers. Oh, but Kanye West got to go. You see what I'm saying?
Or you know,
what's going on up here with us?
I always used to say, how did I used to put it, was like, the deed is only as wholesome as the motive behind it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, say if I tell you like, man, here's $100, man, go to Foot Locker, go buy you some new shoes, right? And you're like, damn, that's my nigga right there. Yeah, and then you leave your house and then I try to sleep with your girl while you're gone. You know what I'm saying? Like the motive, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden,
but look, in Kanye's West defense, I'll say this. When that brother fucked up and did all that speech, that rhetoric on stage, they kind of like say, hey, this brother's crazy. They put him in the hospital, whatever they did to him. Trump was one of the few people that I felt like he could go to, that somebody had power that could say, all right, I'm behind this brother here. That's what I'm talking about. And so people say, oh yeah, white daddy, yeah, because a lot of times that's where the buck stopped. Who's the true ballers?
Right.
It ain't black men. We know that by now.
Well, he's playing chess, but for himself. I mean, that's kind of how I feel. It's like, at the end of the day, you can't really, how do I put this? I really can't be angry at a black man for trying to look out for himself in America. Mm-hmm. Because I thought about this the other day. And I'm like, man, in order to help black people, you got to be in a position. But they ain't going to support you at the bottom. So, you know what I'm saying? So by the time you get in that position, you ain't trying to help them. So you have to...
No, you probably try. A lot of brothers probably try. But
yeah, so
look, we all dealt with black folks. We know how we are.
Mm-hmm. So I think you got to have a mentality that's like, I understand y'all niggas are not going to support me now. But I'm going to come back and help y'all later on when I make it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we have to have that. Like when I know when I'm starting my clothing line or whatever, I'm not finna go to black people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna go to black people to support me and build me up. Like, I know that Mexicans and Native Americans have supported me in the past, so I'm gonna rock with them. You know what I'm saying? And until I get the opportunity to go back and help black people, because if I depended on black people to help me build, their shit ain't finna go down. Like, maybe y'all, but like, you see how many times we try to recruit? You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question. You grew up in Panama mostly, right?
No, I grew up in New York City, but I was going to talk about that, like the mental health and like the Latin community. Mm-hmm. And I was reading a report from Rutgers University, and it was based on like Mexican Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cuban Americans, and Dominicans. Most of the Cuban Americans live in Miami, so they have like a big neighborhood. They call it Little Havana. Havana, capital in Cuba. So that's their place. And they have like medical professionals and businesses. So they have their own clique. So if they need to go to a psychiatrist, they got someone that looks like them. Yeah.
Psychiatrists.
Exactly.
And business leaders.
Exactly.
Hey, Bobby, you having some problems?
Yeah, exactly. But then I found it interesting that second generation kids who live here deal with ethnic discrimination and a lack of job mobility. Mm-hmm. So I've never felt discriminated, like ethnically. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I've just been discriminated just in general, just for being darker. Mm-hmm. But I've never been like, it's not. I've gotten stereotyped. Like, you're Dominican, you must play baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just like, sometimes, but that's not my thing, you know.
Sometimes, yeah. and then they play with you and you damn good at it. And
yeah, they're like, oh, you could play dominoes or you could dance, and I'm like, I can't dance. Like, it's like things I can do, but it's not my main thing. It's like, don't just pigeonhole me, you know. Don't put me in the stereotype. But then there was another fact that was saying how when Mexican immigrants came to the United States and became cultured, their mental health worsened. So because they're not used to their culture of Mexicans are really close knit. I don't know if you've noticed that, just the big families and just always doing fiestas,
hanging out together.
Yeah. So when they come here, they got to work these long hours, these long comfortable
Right.
jobs. They're not seeing their family, or their family is back in Mexico or Honduras or Salvador, whatever. So like that missing of the family like messes them up.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you said something about that, let's talk about chemicals. Talk about oxytocin. Oxytocin is the chemical that you feel from being loved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And think about how much that affects our mental health is the lack of oxytocin. Because I think there's like 4 main chemicals. There's like dopamine. There's serotonin. There's oxytocin, and I think adrenaline, but it has a different name to it, like endorphins. Endorphins is for pain. Oxytocin is like whenever you get feelings of love. Dopamine is like.
So what about when you get feelings of hate?
I think.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly. It's probably
right.
it's probably
That gotta take a
toxic.
toll on
It's
you.
toxic. So you think about the lack of love. You know what I'm saying? You know how that affects the heart. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like
You can die from a broken heart.
Exactly.
That's how powerful it is.
I'm willing to make a bet that there's a link between heart disease and lack of oxytocin. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a medical professional, but it just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you don't feel loved, you know, they talked about people that don't get touched enough, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
And I think that's,
We're touch deprived. I've heard that.
right. And I think that's because even in my day, like we always growing up, it was the handshake and the hug. That was out here, this particular in Phoenix. When I talk to brothers, I can tell them they from here because if I'm lucky, I get the little head, like the little nod. I don't get no speech back, no handshake. It's just a little nod. But that's what I'm kind of used to out here. But Philadelphia, it's you know, handshake,
Full
hug.
embrace.
We talk about intimate things and we bond. We can meet brothers in Philadelphia and we bond. Like we can have conversations like this all the time in Philly. Out here,
And this is therapy right here.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing, what we are
therapy.
trying to achieve, you know, with the group and all that stuff.
If you talk about love, the benefit of love, okay, think about generations of hate. Always see, like I said, like as a white kid grow up, he watch TV, he go out in society, he gonna see white men in position of power. All his life, he gonna be reminded, you lucky to be white, boy. You see what I'm saying? Vice versa for us, we always reminded that we are not in position of power. And we are powerless. See, one thing about what hurts the black community is that we don't have the authority to do any. Like, say if I wanted to go, let's say I'll give you a perfect example. It's kind of funny, but I'll give you an example. I go into Walmart the other day. As soon as I walk in Walmart, I hear a kid screaming, and I'm thinking, "Wow, this kid is retarded," you know. But I don't see him. I just hear him, and he screams and he screams and he screams. So about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I said, "But goddamn, what's going on? Let me go see what's wrong with this child."
Let me go see if he needs an ass whooping.
You about to change his diaper or what?
I want to know what's wrong with this kid. It's to the point now it's bothering me. I want to go see what's wrong. I go and I find him, and the mother, black woman with her her baby, she just letting him holler because she has a little toy he wanted. But she's, so this boy been screaming 10, 15 minutes. No correction, no, honey, you don't act like this in public, nothing. So I want to go over to her and say, "Ma'am, would you, try to," because I feel like this is ridiculous. This is not how you raise kids. They go out in society. Then as soon as somebody shoot them, a cop or whatever, shoot them or whatever, then we hooping and hollering. But we have to prepare our children to go out in society and be smart enough and know how to behave so they don't get into them jams. But when you letting your kids act like that, how you think they're going to act when you're not around? If they can misbehave in front of you, for God's sake. So I say it'd be nice if I could go to her with authority and say, "Ma'am, please try to quiet your child down." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm saying, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And she would say, "Okay, you know what? You're right. I should have did something. But I'm tired and I'm stressed out." She ain't got to say all that. But the fact that I know if I say something to that black woman, she's probably going to come back at me. That's going to make me feel like, you know what? I need to put this two-piece on you. And now I'm going to jail. You see what I'm trying to say? Now I'm going to jail. But that's what I'm saying. We can't even correct our women or our children. Because the system or the man can come in and say, "Hey, we don't like how you did that. You're going to answer to me now."
Well, one of the things that Woody D said that stuck out to me was, if your criticism of the black community outweighs your contribution, then you cooning. You know what I'm saying? So that made a lot of sense, man. And I can't say I ain't never been guilty of cooning. You know what I'm saying? Because in the workplace, you get put in those positions sometimes where you you're afraid to lose your financial well-being and stuff. So I feel like right now, the point that I'm at, when I'm at work, I just feel like, you know what, like this is I gotta go to those. I gotta go to Scottsdale, Northern Scottsdale to get my money. I feel like Lord of the Rings. I gotta travel to Middle Earth to try to obtain something. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, kind
like, and I don't have any power over there. I'm trying to regulate people that got more money, and more social.
I went to a store one time. These little black kids were in there, and the mom sent them to the store. Didn't have enough money on the card, and they wanted a hot dog and French fries. And the lady said, and I was thinking it was only short like 4. I was really thinking the lady was gonna say, you know what, go ahead, get that hot dog and French fries, y'all go on. But that lady was like, no, you need to have
it's callous.
Down. So I came over. I said, no, go and give it to him. Go and give it to him. And then I talked to him a little bit. I said, you know, you guys, you know, if you're smart kids, you'll do your reading and your writing. Now that might be a small contribution, but to me, that's where it starts. When somebody step forth and say, I care enough about you to talk to you and do a little something here.
Exactly.
Take your French fries.
Right. Instead of being on our phones, we need to talk more.
Well, you know what? It's like
that's a contribution, though.
You can always put your words on top of your money. Put your money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can correct you if there's something coming with it. Look, man, I'm gonna give you this food box, but let me tell you something about yourself. I think a lot of times that's what black grandmas had that down. Like we ran into people that want to borrow money or something like that, and they're like, a lot of times when people want something from me, and in order to protect myself, I either put a time barrier or a work barrier between me and them. So if they, hey, can I borrow $50? Yeah, but I need to help move some stuff around in the backyard.
Right.
They're like, dang, if they lazy, they ain't gonna want to do that. And if I say like, you know what, I'll have it for you, but tomorrow. If they impatient, then they gotta go get it from somewhere else. They don't want to get it from grandma because grandma knows that she gonna either like you gonna have a speech. Like, I'll give you the money, but you're going to have to run me down there to the hospital tomorrow for my appointment. Or what is you going to use the money for? What, you on drugs again? Like, they're going to talk your ear off and you're going to get a lesson with that money. So a lot of times people don't, you know what I'm saying? One day it's like, hey, look. Like I told him, a brother walked up on me one time and he said, man, you got some change? And the dude looked like he was more healthier looking than me. Was stark, looked like he was eating better than I was. So I told him, I said, what kind of service you provide? And he didn't. He kind of looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you do to get money? He's like, I work. And I'm like, well, why you ain't got money? And so I creeped him out because I said, what kind of services you provide? He probably thought it was a decent proposal or something. Right. Like, hey man, what you willing to do for this $5? You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this story about mental illness. A lot of it, and I know this from a fact, a lot of it is isolation. Like, in other words, we see people going the wrong way, we don't say nothing no more. We used to say, hey, man, straighten up, man. Come on, man. Them drugs getting the best of you. Oh, come on, man. Don't go out there and do that. We don't do that as black people no more. We see a mother over there stressed out with 5 kids. Exactly. And we like, that's her fault. She got to keep her legs closed.
Instead of, helping her out or trying to...
She's here now. The kids are here now. Now we can try. That, so the kids may say, oh, the community cares. These black kids don't feel like nobody love them. And then mom's stressed. I mean, it's hard. We suffer because we not connected to each other no more. We don't think nobody cares no more.
I think people are more open when they're broken, and we're trying to wait for that opportunity for them to get broken. Like, oh, you ain't had enough yet, right? I think, you know what I'm saying?
That's me. That's kind of...
It is because
that might be tough love. But.
Well, I don't know if you ever watched Luke Cage, that series Luke Cage.
I've seen like
but anyway, his skin was so tough, they had to put him in this machine to where they boiled him, and he was almost gonna die. But in order for him to get his skin to separate, because it was like a shell. Like, in order for that, it had to be so volatile for them to get a bullet out of him. They had to boil him. So pretty much what they had to do was make him vulnerable in order to heal him. You know what I'm saying? And when people are just vulnerable, they open up to more opportunities. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like people are, I think, more receptive when they run out of their own options. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that with my dad. My dad, he ain't gonna listen to nothing I gotta say until he runs out of options. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we just gotta let nature take its course. I guess too is we gotta plant the seed. Like, hey brother, if you ever need something, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna force it, but you know what I'm saying? I'm here for you. We just gotta plant the seed to let them know, hey, there's a hospital right here if you need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody worry about the hospital until they sick, and then all of a sudden you like, damn, where was that banner at? What street was that again? Right. So I think we have to provide that for each other. So I guess we could use that as an opportunity in this podcast to say, if somebody ever needs somebody to talk to, then it's not gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like whenever you have them opportunities or them times where you feel like you run out of options, you can always get a hold of one of us or whatever. Because ultimately there's got to be some kind of solution and some kind of openness. And I felt, you know what I'm saying, like this is the place for me to be able to talk about these kind of things. So there's probably other people that listen to this and probably feel the same way. They feel like, man, I want to sit with them brothers and have a conversation without feeling like I'm getting judged. So
exactly.
We're here to use this as an opportunity to do that as well. So
yeah, we could just grow together. It's not, we are at different levels, different places in our lives, but I mean, we just want to achieve happiness.
I wanted to ask you though, do you feel like a black man? If I ask you your experience real quick, if I see your experience in America, can you say I know what it's like to be a man, or I know what it's like to be a black man? What you think you could be honest, talk more about?
I feel like I've been able to see what like the white man does, so I've been able to like
in which way?
Like doing good in school and then going to college and then so dressing appropriate with a button up and slacks and nice shoes,
a belt on, right?
Yeah, so just like
see, that's not real quick. See how like people that come from other countries, they'll come to America with that focus. How do I do it right? What am I supposed to do?
But it's not even right, because if you think about it, I was trying to like copy them instead of being like my own true self. But I mean, it helped me to a certain degree, but then now I'm just like, what was the point in all that when I wasn't really happy or really myself?
Anyway,
I feel like I have like half of my American manhood. I have the character and stuff that like I received from my parents and stuff like that. Because I feel like, when you raise in the country, I think you end up with it's a little bit slower, so you got more opportunity to care about people and learn your neighbors and stuff like that. I think being raised in the country you build more character. You know what I'm saying? Because people are more tight knitted in the community. So I feel like that aspect, since I had both of my parents, they might not have been together, but I always had access to them. Mm-hmm. That aspect I feel like I've gained. The other aspect is the side where I feel like, man, in order to be able to make my money without having to go to Middle Earth, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like in order to be self-sufficient monetary wise and say, I think that's the other half of being a man, is to be saying like, hey, I don't have to deal with you if I don't want to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
To me, if it wasn't for law enforcement and the judicial system, I could really say I don't think I have many complaints, man. As a man, I would feel like a man. But when it comes to law enforcement and the judicial system, man, it's like, damn, man, I feel like shit. And when I see little kids get hurt and there's no, because grown folks, I said, you're a grown man, you should be smart enough to know how to avoid situations. But when children get hurt, and we can't protect our children, it's like, how can I feel like a man?
Right. I think the way that we can protect them is by educating them outside of the school system. So I think that was part of the program that I was trying to put together to get these kids out to read again, man, and educating them on stuff that we want, that we want them to know, and little principles. And my clothing line is going to be geared towards